We begin this hour with breaking news. Armenian state television says that a ceasefire has been agreed between Azerbaijani and ethnic Armenian forces after intense fighting in Nagorno-Karabakh. On Tuesday, Baku launched artillery strikes on the region's capital. At least 32 people are reported to have been killed, more than 200 injured. Now, the two sides have been locked in a dispute for decades over Nagorno-Karabakh, most recently leading to a war in 2020. Dmitry Medvedenko takes a look now at the events of the past 48 hours.
On the streets of Stepanakert, the main city in Nagorno-Karabakh, panic took over as mortars pounded its surroundings. This ethnic Armenian-dominated enclave and self-declared breakaway territory is internationally recognized as part of Azerbaijan, but it is controlled by ethnic Armenians and has close links to the Armenian government. It is the source of instability and tension between the two countries. And the threat of out-and-out conflict is never far away. Both have gone to war over the region in the early 1990s after the fall of the Soviet Union, and in 2020, which ended after a ceasefire agreement. The latest source of tension is the continuing blockade by Azeri forces of the Lachen Corridor, an area of land linking Armenia to Nagorno-Karabakh. A separate corridor, known as Agdam Road, connects the rest of Azerbaijan with the enclave. Baku says authorities there have refused to accept supplies from that corridor. Russia, one of the backers of the ceasefire, has urged the two countries to stop the fighting.
Russia strongly encourages the conflicting sides to stop the bloodshed, stop the military actions at once, and return to a political and diplomatic settlement.
Outside the Armenian parliament in Yerevan, crowds gathered to protest against the renewed military operations, urging the government to do more to protect the people of Nagorno-Karabakh, as once again the tension between the two countries spills over into conflict. Dmitry Medvedenko, Al Jazeera.
Well, meanwhile, Moscow says that Russian peacekeepers have evacuated more than 2,000 civilians from Nagorno-Karabakh. Russia's defense ministry says it's provided temporary shelters for ethnic Armenians from that region, as well as medical aid. Moscow says its troops continue their peacekeeping mission there. Well, let's bring in Yulia Shapovalova. She joins us now from Moscow. Yulia, now that we've heard that the ceasefire has been announced, Moscow must be pretty happy about that.
Well, we all hope that Nagorno-Karabakh war number 3 has been avoided. We're hoping that there are high hopes that nothing awful will happen. Seems like the official Russia has taken sides with Azerbaijan and its closest ally, Turkey. This time around, the Russian president was meeting the Turkish leader just recently in Sochi, where the sides were discussing the economy and mutual trade as well as politics. Both are very much dependent on each other. But despite that, many Russian people, a lot of them are very sympathetic towards the Armenians in Karabakh. There is now a humanitarian crisis in the region. In December 2022, we know that Azerbaijan blocked the Lachen Corridor, the only road connecting Karabakh with Armenia. And since then, there's been a shortage of food and medicine in the region. And basically, what we hear now, the message is that probably should be heard during the UN General Assembly, is that no military aggression is justified in the 21st century, even to achieve the highest goals, because always innocent civilians, children and the elderly suffer from the hostilities and their lives simply get ruined.
Well, as we know, Russia has had peacekeepers there in the region and has obviously been very heavily involved in mediation. Talk us through their role now.
So basically, as you said, the Russian peacekeeping contingent has evacuated more than 2,000 civilians, over half of them children, from all the dangerous areas of Nagorno-Karabakh. The Russian Defense Ministry was reporting that, and actually they said that doctors from the specialized medical units had given aid to the wounded. So the Russian peacekeepers' mission is to protect locals and help evacuate them. and not to intervene in the military actions. That's according to the Russian side. We've heard from some Russian officials are saying that the Russian peacekeepers can't start shooting unless their lives are in danger. So basically, they're there to help, and the Russian Ministry of Defense is actually reporting about their actions now in the area.